everybody, hope you're hungry today, because guess what? We're making this guy. I've got a whole bunch of crayfish in a pot here, and we're gonna cook a crayfish roll. Just a little idea I had. Basically was looking at a load of lobster roll recipes online, and I thought, you know what? I'm not spending 20 bucks on a lobster just to turn it into a sandwich, but I've got all these guys swimming around in the creek and they cost me nothing. So that's what we're going to do today. You can see this one's a good size. That's about the biggest I catch where I am. I know some people get a different size, but that's a big one for me. As I said, we got a pot full here. So if you saw my first ever video, I believe it was on Crayfish Catch and Store, and I showed you my little setup in the creek where I stuck a laundry hamper in there and then just built it up until I had enough to eat. Still got the hamper in there, haven't used it really so much lately. I have 2 traps in the creek now, and I catch maybe an average of 5 to 10 per trap. So I've got a few in here, already took them out of the trap. The other part of my setup is I put a kiddie pool in the backyard and I sort of let them swim around there for a day, just to drain themselves of any creek goo. And then once they come inside, what I've done now is I've put them in a pot of salted water, heavily salted water. And that is absolutely essential because these are coming out of the creek and they do have parasites. So I can show you that. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. You can see right there is a parasite, and they are quite full of them. But as I said, if you put them in salted water, basically all those parasites can't handle the salt and they die right away. They come right out of the crayfish, usually shoot them right out their mouths. So you do that, you give them about 10 minutes or so, swimming around in that, and then I'm going to take them out of there, rinse them off, put them in some fresh water, and then probably the part you don't really want to watch at all if you're squeamish, I'm going to pull their poop chute out. We'll get to that in a second. As I said, you just dump them in the sink. I'm going to give them one more fresh bath just to make sure they're not carrying anything else. What do you do now? They love it when I do this. Funny enough, I know it seems like animal cruelty, but it's almost like these things appreciate the salt water, because they definitely come alive afterwards. It's like going to the spa and having a cleanse. The only annoying part is they tend to crawl right into the drain. They think I can't get them down there. It just makes it a little more difficult. But these are definitely a feisty bunch. See, he's stuck right in there. A piece of onion on his back. So there, into the fresh water for them. And we're going to give them a minute just to swim around. Sometimes they look like they're dead. They sort of fake sleep every once in a while. This guy's still kicking, but probably barely, to be honest. So they're having a good rinse. Again, if you are squeamish at all, don't watch this bit. But what you got to do, actually, before we do that, I'm going to get the cooking liquid on the boil, because it's not going to take long for them to go after I pull out the chute. Everybody's got their own recipe. The one that generally works for me is to get some cold water, seasoned salt, dump a load of that in there. Some little pepper in there. Pepper on the counter. Regular black pepper. chuck some of that in there. And we're going to get some lemon juice. It's about enough water. Give that a stir. And just for fun, a couple of bay leaves. And that is pretty much all you need. So get that on the stove, bring it up to a boil. And as soon as that's boiling, we'll start getting the crayfish in. Just show you the ingredients I'm going to use as well. Come back over here. So for the mix, do it in a smaller container. I'm going to go mayonnaise. For the whipped dressing alternative. I like it because it's got a bit of a tang to it. So that should be enough. And then we'll get the lemon juice again. A couple of dabs of that. And capers. I guess that's probably the one thing that most people would have to go out of their way to find, but you can get capers in any supermarket. Just drop a couple of them in there. And salt and pepper. And then I've got a mix of leek and onion that was left over from my dinner last night. A couple of shots of that. And a little bit of roughly chopped carrot. So that will serve as the mix once we've got the crayfish cooked. And then for the bun, hot dog bun. So that's all ready to go. The water will be shortly boiling. And we're going to get these crayfish in the pot. I'll just show you this once because I do understand that it can be pretty graphic. But just so you know how to do it. Always grab crayfish right behind the claws. No way he can pinch you if you got him right there. You have to be tight on the body too. Just like that. But his arms can't stretch back, he can't catch you. This guy will probably take a good nip at your finger if you let him. So, turn him around again once again right behind the claws. And you're going to grab the middle fin right at the back. And you're going to twist like that. It's going to come right out. And that's it. So I'll do that another 20-30 times and get back to you. Okay, so our mix is at a boil now. And the crayfish, in they go. And they're... And that's it, they're dead. So, I'm going to let that go for 3 to 5 minutes on heat. Once it gets back up to a boil. And then after that, you leave them in the pot for another 10-15 minutes and let them soak up all the juices. So it's a very quick cook time, but you still want to have them sitting in the water, soaking up all that flavor. And then after that, we'll get to the shelling. So here we got the crayfish fresh out the pot. I'm just going to show you on one. Basically what you want to do is, again, right behind the claws, just a bit of a squeeze so you crack the shell. And then you're going to twist and pull. Kind of made a mess of that one. Crack, squeeze again. and a nice little piece of tail meat. I know it doesn't look like much, but that's why we need so many of them. Oops, I ate that. So, squeeze. That one, the whole head just came off. And you can see a little bit better there. That's going to be a bigger piece. And if I get really lucky here, aha! All came out in one. There you go. So I got a bit of work in front of me. I'll get cracking on these then. Get cracking, get it? Also, if you pop the claws off there, and you squeeze, take that knuckle out, you squeeze, you see there's a nice bit of meat, but that's only on the really big ones. You could try doing it on the small ones, but you wouldn't get much at all. And you just pop it out of the knuckle with the claw. I think these are probably not much in here. Whoop. You can get a little bit out. See if we find one with a really big claw. That guy. Twist. And there's some meat in there. It just depends on how much fiddling you want to do, because obviously these, as I keep saying, are not big at all. But there's meat to be had, like you can see in there. It's just how much you want to fuss with it and pull it out. So I'll keep going at that and come back in a bit. So there you go, folks. After about 20 minutes to half an hour of shucking all those shells there, about 25 crayfish, there's your yield. That's pretty much all the tail meat. You can see I did manage to get some of the knuckles, but at the same time I was eating the knuckles as I went because it's just pretty much impossible to go through that without eating some of it. So what we're going to do now, we take a little hot dog bun. I'm going to toast it in a frying pan. And we're going to add all this meat to our sauce. Scrape all the bits in there. Just mix that up like that. That's all I'm doing. And I think I'll go get some parsley. A little bit of parsley, some chives, right out the garden. Freshly killed. Just gonna rough chop that. Done. Check the bun. Almost. I guess with it being a hot dog bun, couldn't really expect it to hold together. Oh yeah, just lightly toasted. And I guess since this is not held together, it's going to be slightly more adventurous piling on. There's a big one there. You might have overdone it a little bit on the mayo, but that's okay. There we go. Oops. Splash of that stuff, and you're good to go. Crayfish roll. Cheers, everybody. That's a tasty snack. See you next time.